This Memorial Day, freshen up your home decor using just a few simple household objects and some paper. To make each star, we're going to use 3 pieces of paper, and because it is Memorial Day, I have chosen red, white, and blue. So we're going to do the same thing to each piece of paper. So I'm going to show you with the red. The first thing you want to do is fold it widthwise so that you get 2 rectangles. You can press down on the crease so that it's marked, and then cut so you have 2 separate pieces of red. If you have a paper cutter and you want to just cut your paper in half at the 5.5 inch mark, that would work as well. Or if you wanted to use full pieces of paper, you will need 2 of each color, and be aware that your finished star or pinwheel will be very big. So I'm going to take one of my halves away, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this corner up to the edge so that this 90-degree corner here is split perfectly, or as perfectly as I can make it, at 45 degrees. So just fold up. So your edges meet, your corner is split as well as you can, and finish the crease. Now you can keep this folded, and you want to make sure to cut off the top so that you have a square folded in half into a triangle. Alright, so now you can see I have my square. If you have origami paper, you can use that too, but you will get printer paper in your kit. So this can be held for scrap paper or recycled. I'm now going to do this same procedure to all the rest of my colors. Alright, now that I've got 2 triangles in each color, if you used origami paper, you basically are starting at this step with your squares folded into triangles. So you're going to have a template, and all you have to do is line up your template with your triangle. So you want to make sure that your closed point is up at your open point here, so that all of your end points are on the fold. And all you're going to do is trace these lines and then cut them while your triangle is folded, or while your square is folded into a triangle, I should say. So it is technically possible to do this with just the scissor, but I'm going to use a pencil. So all I'm going to do is draw my line there and my line there. Draw my next line here. Oops, and you can kind of pull one piece of your stencil away and use the other as a straight edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my next piece. And then the other side. And I realize my hand is kind of in the way, but I'm doing this so I can hold all of my pieces still. If you get a little bit off of your line, that's fine, it will still work. But you can see that I now have all of my lines drawn on, and only the very bottom one connects. The others are broken up at the top. This is important. We need this part of it to be connected. So with your paper still folded, cut on the lines. Alright, so now that I have my template trace on all of my pieces. Now I put my marks in Sharpie just to make sure that they showed up on camera. You want to do yours in pencil as light as you can because you don't want them to show up on your finished product. But now that I have them all, and you can see that all of my papers are still folded, and I have only trace on one side because the cuts are going to be done while it's folded. So I just take all of them and cut on the lines. So I don't want any of my lines to come together except for the ones very much down at the corner. That is the only one that you're going to fully pull out. You want everything else to stay connected. Kind of like if you were making a paper snowflake. Alright, so you can see that I did cut through everything at the fold line. So now I have, if I can get it to open, there it goes. Now I have kind of 3 squares in one. So I'm going to do that for each of my remaining pieces. Once you have everything cut, open up your piece and kind of turn it so that the fold line is running widthwise. If you hold it, you want your fingers on the fold so that you have the openings and that the closed part of the squares are vertical. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the very inner piece and the very outer piece and just fold them up like a cannoli, for anyone who knows the reference, and stick a tiny piece of tape just big enough to hold the points together. So I have my inner square pieces and I am bringing them together and holding with one hand while I put a little bit of tape. This is actually way too much tape. A little bit of tape, just enough to hold them in that lovely cannoli shape. So that's the very inner square, and then we're going to skip to the outer square, bring the points together, and with a tiny piece of tape, just tape it down. Now you can use glue for this part if you want. I find tape to be fairly easy. So now that we've got our inner cannoli and our outer cannoli, we're just going to flip it over, take that middle piece that we skipped in the first part, and do the same thing. Bring your points together and stick a little bit of tape on it so that you end up with a, if I hold it this way, a left, right, left. All right, so we're cannolis in the army now. All right, and you can flip it over each time if that makes more sense for you. So here is another piece. And again, I am holding the fold and I can put it together with my little inner square. Just fold it around. And if I wanted to flip it over at this point and do the middle, my little cannoli sheet, put some tape on there, and then flip it around again and do the top. And it does not matter whether you have right over left or left over right, so long as you have your ends together in your little cone shape. And you can see that my pieces are identical. You cannot tell which one I made which way. That is what we're looking for, so it really doesn't matter. Alright, so now that I have all of my pieces fully taped, I have arranged them so that they are all facing the same direction. So I have my 2 and my 1 going the same way. Now I'm just going to shift a couple of these around because personally I want a red, white, blue type situation. So I'm going to put 3 and 3. Oops, those are backwards. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is take these 3 pieces and just line up the ends. So I have my little fan. And if I want, I can throw a quick staple or some tape on this. So just a quick staple right where I had pinched it. So here is half of my star. And then I'm going to do the same with these 3. And I don't need to staple these. I can just bring them right together. So just gather my pieces together. And I am kind of squishing them a little bit and then taking my other piece and overlapping the 2 sets of 3. So you can see I can pinch it and have everything the way I want it. So I'm just going to try and slide. I know it's possible, I just may not be able to do it on camera. There we go. So I'm going to slide my stapler in here and just give it 1 staple through all 6 layers. So you can see that it's nice and stapled. And there I have my finished star. So if you want to do a little bit extra, you can attach them on the edges and just put them together right here with a staple. But I think it looks kind of nice even without it, and you can hang this anywhere on your house.